Great skills again by him. Oh, marvellous goal by Lewis.
Welcome to the Rangers Journey.
Hello everyone, welcome to the Rangers Journal. This is a pre-match thoughts pod on tonight's game at Tannadice against Dundee. Doug, just join yourself in when you're ready. Doug is also going to join us as well. Hello. Stevie, you were here first though, so I'll come to you first. How are you this evening, mate?
I'm very well, mate, thank you. I'm kind of half looking forward to it, half dreading it tonight. For pure split personality with Rangers just now, it's that you want to be optimistic, but also all this empirical evidence right at your fingertips is like, I don't know, but yeah, we'll see. But it's December, Dundee away or Dundee United away. I don't know, I quite like these games in December, November. I don't know, it kind of reminds me of when I was a youngster. I was always quite excited for these games. So yeah, still slightly optimistic.
At least it's not Pataudry, I guess, because I don't feel comfortable going up there at the moment either. Doug, thank you for joining us late. Welcome aboard.
No bother. Feeling pretty much the same way as Stevie, I think. Hoping that we'll show a little bit more, and I'm really hoping we'll see some changes to the team as well tonight to try and kickstart things. Because don't know if I can sit through another performance like Sunday's.
Well, there's a body of evidence that supports that, Doug, because you think you've been on about 18,000 different podcasts since the game at the weekend talking about how bad it was. Do you mind keeping an eye on the team? Is that okay? Do we get a team sheet coming up?
Yeah, we'll do.
Thank you very much. Stevie, we do like to kind of get our thoughts out the way before starting, just because, like you say, you want to be optimistic, but then the team comes out and maybe that kind of takes away the optimism. There's not a lot that I can see. We're not creating anywhere near enough chances for a start, and there's not a lot that I see do. There's not a lot of good signs with the front three, no matter who it really is. So I guess before we see the team sheet, what do you think, or what are you hoping for this evening?
Yeah, I totally concur with what you've just said there, mate. I mean, to me, it feels like it's like Danny Rowley's trying to rearrange the deck chairs on the Titanic because it's sinking. He's really up against it. But I think what he's done, he's starting to build a framework. We are more difficult to beat. We look more compact, more structured. So there's that. But I totally agree. Like going forward, there's so little to be enthused about. I guess from my point of view, I'm desperate to see Lyle Cameron, Finlay Curtis. I want to see them involved because I really think we're lacking that bite and that kind of dynamic player that's really going to kind of just take a chance, be a bit brave. Because Sunday, I don't know, seeing Rangers players stroll about the pitch, it's infuriating because Rangers, we've built our entire history. Is that a team right there? Let me see.
That is the team, yeah. I like to get it up as soon as. Thank you, Doug, for that.
Thanks, mate.
Well, Doug, you come back in there. Let Stevie have a look at that and give us your thoughts on that starting 11.
Yeah, well, not as much change as I'd have liked. I've been champing at the bit to see Cameron get a chance, and I thought maybe Curtis might get a look in after he finally got a few minutes at the end of the last game. But it's kind of much as such. Barami's kept his place, which I think is good. He was the only one that I think kind of showed a bit of actual drive and spark in that last game. So I'm hoping that he can kick on. He's another player that we've never really, I don't think, seen the best of him for any kind of length of time. He's shown fits and starts. So again, if he's someone that can come in and do something, then great. Good to see Magoma back as well. I thought when he came on against Falkirk, we just looked so much better. So yeah, not as much change as I'd maybe have liked, but yeah, we'll see.
Not really a lot he can do with the centre halves though, Steve, is there? I mean, that's I guess Enciala might have been a shout for it, but not really much else he can do with them.
I mean, I would have bombed Jig out there. I don't want to see him in the Rangers shirt again, to be honest. I would have gladly had Tav in the centre back beside Fernandes, Arms to right back. But yeah, I'm glad Magoma's back, offer a bit more balance. And to be honest, it's not the team I would have picked, but I quite like the fact that Barn and Raskin are there, and it seems like he's gone quite offensive, with Danilo, Kasama, Baj and Miovski. I'd really love to see Bajrami given a shot at the number 10. But there's two strikers there. I feel like when we play with one striker, there's not enough up top. And then when we play with two, it's almost like there's not enough creativity. So at least he's given it a go with Danilo. But yeah, I think, again, what I was saying before, I was kind of desperate to see Cameron get a start. Our strikers on the scoring, so ultimately we need goals for somewhere else. So we'll see. I'm a wee bit optimistic, but like I say, I think we're really missing that kind of Scottish element. We really need to grind it out. But we'll see. I mean, like I say, maybe a bit more progression tonight.
Yeah, and I think that's something we're going to cover over either tomorrow's pod or at least in the next couple of days. The lack of make a bit of noise there, mate. Not really anybody doing anything in that team that says that they deserve to be there over any of the Scottish players. I guess Barron is in there. That was for you, Doug.
Sorry, I didn't quite catch you, Billy.
I'm not going through it all again. It was to do with the Scottish players not getting a chance. What's your thoughts on that?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's something that it's obviously been talked about on and off. Wanting to see these guys get an opportunity. I've said it numerous times on numerous pods. I was excited when Cameron came in. I thought he was a player that that looked like he could potentially take that step up from Dundee, and he's just never really got that run in the team. He got a little bit at the beginning, and I thought he looked decent, when he did play. But obviously, for whatever reason, he's not getting a look in now. And that is for me disappointing, because when you've got players that are there that are not performing week in, week out, I'm sitting there thinking, well, even if he doesn't look great in training, surely you can at least give him a chance. Because certainly when you're watching games like the Falkirk game, he definitely couldn't do any worse.
Scotty, welcome aboard, mate. I'll move you over just so we can see you. On that chat screen there, how you doing?
Aye, no bad at all, Billy, no bad at all. All set for another disappointing night being a Rangers fan.
That's definitely how it feels, mate. It feels like that for me. What do you make of the starting 11? McGoma's been brought back in. Barron does get a start. I guess, what's your thoughts?
I don't think the manager's doing anything to help this narrative that's slightly starting to build around him. Like you boys have mentioned there about Lyle Cameron, should be coming in. Why is Finlay Curtis not getting a start? Gassama's offered nothing in the past month. Scored against Dundee, but that's a bit hit. Badrami, as I say the other night on the pod, he's a moments player. I'd like to see him playing centrally unless it's a midfield three. And that's Danilo wide left, Billy. That's a failed experiment for me. It was tried under Beale. Rolls tried it now. I don't think it's something that's going to pay off. I would have liked to have seen the two Scottish boys coming in tonight purely because if you look at Lyle Cameron when we were playing against Pilsen, I think one of the goals we scored, we were doing the passing the ball around the back as usual, but when it came to actually breaking the lines, Cameron was able to hold off a player in centre mid, and we were able to then break forward and score. That's what we need for our midfielders. We don't need our midfielders pressing high up the park and running a bit like headless chickens. We need somebody that's actually going to get a wee bit of control over the ball and break down the barrier that's put in front of him. In terms of Finlay Curtis, I think he's 2-3 goals or something this season as well. Needs to start. And it's disappointing that Ant-Man's out injured for 8 weeks and he's not been flung right in a night. While I've been very critical of this squad, I do think there's other things the manager could be doing with the team at his disposal, mate.
Steve, I'll let you come in on the kind of Scottish players, Cameron, Curtis, Barron is getting a start. And also, if you want to talk us through why Danilo's getting shoved out on the left. I mean, I think when he plays better, it's close to the other striker.
Absolutely. I mean, to answer your second point first, I mean, Danilo definitely plays, he's far more influential when he's playing a two up top. And maybe he'll switch that tonight. Maybe he's just got his full there. But yeah, that's the only way I'd have Danilo, because other than that, he just seems like a wasted jersey. He doesn't really. I know he does work. I'll give him his due. He actually does put a shift in, but he's just so kind of slow. Obviously, the injuries have taken its toll, and if he is going to be at left, I don't think he offers enough run mobility. I would suggest. Whereas Curtis,
pace as well, I would say.
Sorry.
Sorry, mate. Pace as well. He's not got the pace.
He's not. He's only got it. Again, due to the injuries. But yeah, we need more bite, more aggression. Like I say, it was honestly, Falkirk was. I mean, I know the last 3 games haven't been great, but Falkirk was so frustrating. That it was just so many players just strolling about. And I was going to say before, Rangers have literally built their entire existence. Like all their success on this attitude of never say die. And on Sunday, it was like never say sprint. I think Bajrami sprinted once to get the ball and then took it on. I was like, wow, that's the first time I've seen that for a Rangers player in such a long time. It's like a malaise. But yeah, I think really just like Cameron and Curtis offer that aggression. You've seen the training clips of Curtis. He's like an old-fashioned Rangers player. He's proper screaming at guys to improve. He's demanding the ball. He seems to really like be that type of player. And I think Cameron's cut for the same cloth. And they offer goals. Scotty said it there. Curtis has got 3 goals at the start of the season. Cameron's contributed goals and assists when they were given a chance. So I kind of agree with Scotty there that there's a slight narrative building against Rowe in the sense that he's not giving these guys a chance, because ultimately, what's he got to lose? I mean, they're playing so poorly anyway. Throw them in. I mean, obviously, maybe he sees it differently. He's building this framework. But, you know, we've been crying it for, even before Danny Rowe, we've been crying it for more Scottish players for such a long time. And that to me is the way forward. Glad to see Barron. He's still there. He's a very important player. I think he was one of the few ones that impressed at the weekend. But yeah, at least he seems quite offensive tonight, so hopefully he's going to go.
Doug, it does seem quite offensive, but I think Scotty's saying there, Bajrami, for instance, is a moments player. I would say Gassama's been a moments player. Asgard has been a one-moment player. There's too many moments players and not enough consistency for me. What's your thoughts on that?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I don't know if I can even go so far as to call Gassama a moments player yet. I don't know if his moments were too condensed into the beginning of the season. But yeah, I mean, I think he probably is sort of panning out that way as it stands. He will pop up now and again with a cracker, but that's exactly it. I mean, how many? I think we touched on in a conversation I was having earlier on today in one of the group chats. Someone was talking about bringing Aribo back because he's not playing for Southampton, and I kind of said I wouldn't be up for that, because basically for the same thing is that he was a player that I felt would pop in and out of games, but he would go missing quite a lot, and that's one of the reasons I don't think he's really ever locked his place down at Southampton, because he tends to drift in and out of games, and he can have great moments. Like obviously he's got the goal against Braga, he scored in the European final, so he's got great moments in him, but again maybe not quite as many, and you know, he was fine in a team like we had back then, but he's not the type of player that's going to, I think, drag this team forward, which is what we're going to need. And that's what we're missing, is players that not only that can drag the team forward, but, you know, then do that game to game and consistently and help us to build good habits. I can't remember which pod it was, but one of the ones I've been on earlier on in the week was talking about the frustration that Celtic have still got that muscle memory of champions in terms of getting those last minute winners. You know, how many times have we been sitting there 92 minutes and it looks like they're going to drop points and then they get that last minute goal? And that's the kind of thing that you build. You know, you build that up over time. You know, obviously Man United famous for having it with Fergie time, getting those last minute goals, and it's habits like that we're going to need to build, and we're going to need to bring in players that can do it. And like you say, we've got too many players at the moment, I think, that can't do that, or at least have not shown it thus far. It's fine to have maybe 1-2 moments players if they're capable of big things in big games. But you need a good team built around that to help for when they're not doing it. And as I say, right now, we've got too many of them, and then the ones around them aren't performing either. So therefore, it leads to what we're getting now, draws. Too many of them, which is ultimately, I think, when we get to the end of this season, that's what we'll look back on and we'll go, well, we drew 8 billion games, so that was where we went wrong.
Can I come back really quickly on that?
Yeah, of course, Stevie.
Just like 10 seconds. I think what Doug's talking about there is lack of leaders. That team and squad has almost no leaders, and it's evident. I think that's what we're really missing.
No worries. I just do want to mention our podcast sponsor, which is the Bluebells Pub in Puerto del Carmen. If you're out in Lanzarote just now, you probably do have time to make it there to watch the game. They put the games on. You can. I don't have the copy, Scotty, but I will get it for next time. They have, drinks. You can drink out there by the beach. You can drink inside in the shade. They'll look after you if you mention the Rangers Journal. So please, if you are over there, go and check them out and tell them that we sent you. Also, if you do like the pod, we have launched a merch I don't know, you don't call it a campaign, a merch site. If you scan that QR code, I am wearing the Rangers Journal hoodie just now. I think you are as well, Scotty. It's quite nice, quite smart. But if you scan that QR code, that will take you to our Etsy store. If you're over there as well, you can just type in the Rangers Journal, and we do come up in the search function there too. So I'll move on from that. Scotty, I'm going to bring up the team again just to show the subs bench. Now, you've already mentioned Cameron and Curtis, Asgard, Jamiti, Aarons, all players that have not performed very well this season. But one noticeable name is Dujon Sterling. How happy are you with that?
I am happy with it, but it's a bit like Rabbi Matondo, isn't it? It's all these false dawns you get with these players that keep getting injured. So I'm buzzing Sterling's back, and if he gets around the team, even better. But I can't see him sustaining the fitness, to be honest with you, Billy.
That is the worry, yeah.
I think we could maybe be doing with him in midfield to add a wee bit of bite into it. He'll not give us the control that I was shouting about Kenny McLean on the pod the other night. I think that's a must sign in January for Rangers. I don't think there's an option now. I think we need to go and get an experienced campaigner to come in and sort this midfield out. Get a wee bit of control. That's badly what it's missing. In terms of the bench, Aarons speaks for itself. And Ciala, not sure when we're going to see him, if any time, to be honest. And Shamiti he's 8 million worth of Shamiti, isn't he?
Oh, anyway, we'll move on to just kind of final thoughts on the game. Doug, how do you see it playing out? Were you expecting a kind of another drab slog on a Wednesday night in the cold?
I'm hoping not. I mean, I think it will be a difficult game. Obviously, United will be up for it, as they usually are, and obviously they're at home, so they'll have their crowd behind them. But I'm hoping that we'll see a little bit of a reaction from the performance. And I said this yesterday on one of the pods that was on, that I hope some of the players were listening in the presser that Danny Rule did yesterday, because I think he said a few things that if I'm sitting in the dressing room, they should be taken as not insults, but as encouragements to be better. He's talking about, we need to go out and buy players that are aggressive. We need to go out and buy players who are quick-minded. We need to go buy players who understand what it means to play for Rangers. So, by virtue of saying that, he's saying there are players in this dressing room that do not understand, and therefore we need to buy players that do. So I'm hoping that some of them are sitting there going, am I one of those players? Well, I need to up my game. I need to show him I can be aggressive, I can be quick, that I understand. And so hopefully we get, as I say, a bit of a reaction, and that we, at the very least, because you can have a game against a team like Falkirk who are set up and dig in and play well, because Falkirk played well. And you can still come out of that game with a 0-0 draw and go, okay, it wasn't our day today. They played well, but we went at them and we were at it. And, we had 101 chances and their goalie played a blinder, and, they just played really well. And you can come out of that and still feel okay about the game, despite drawing. But it's the fact that we were just so lethargic and just so poor and so lacking in creativity. And you just knew from about 15, 20 minutes in, it's going to be one of these games and just nothing's going to happen. And that was exactly what happened. And that's what the real killer is in matches like that. It's, you can be upset about losing points, but at least if you can be like, oh, well, they left it all on the pitch, but, they didn't even take anything on the pitch to leave in that game. So.
Thank you very much, Doug. Now, these pre-match ones are just meant to be 15, 20 minutes. So I'm not having a dig at you, Doug, but we're not going for 45 minutes this evening. Stevie, your thoughts on the game just before we go?
Have you seen the film Any Given Sunday? Al Pacino gives this amazing speech to the team before. It's the most inspiring thing I'll ever hear. I think you could roll him into the dressing room the night of Tannadice. I don't think it'll make much of a difference. Genuinely, I'm losing a lot of faith with these players, but I want to see them go out there and earn their wage, just 110%. Make sure you're knackered by the time you come off that pitch, because it is going to be a battle, and if they're not up for it, they'll probably lose. So 110%, which is the bare minimum that any Rangers players should be given. That's what I want to see. As long as they do that, kind of like Doug said, leave nothing out there, then you'll say fair enough, but it's got to be 100 times better than the weekend. I'd bite your hand off for a 1-0. My heart says 3-0. So we'll probably lose 3-0.
Fair
We'll
enough,
see.
mate, fair enough. Scott, you got an Al Pacino impression for us before we go?
Nope, absolutely nothing. I'm out of motivation when it comes to this team. Season's over as far as I'm concerned, Billy. So on to the next one each. On to the next one each draw tonight, or nothing each other. Whatever you want, I'd be happy to see you score a couple of times. Let's just hope for the best, eh?
Mate, we'll do 5-0 tonight, and you'll be on the pod saying the league's back on. So that's how interchangeable my mood is when it comes to watching Rangers at the moment. Guys, thank you very much for watching. The game is just about 55 minutes away. Hope your team wins and hope you enjoy it. We will be back after the match with a post-match reaction pod, so catch us then. And remember, every night is the Rangers Journal night.